I am freeballing this video. I don't know if I should look better before filming this, but I don't really care. I'm just gonna say the words that are in my mind. This is why you should learn Indian classical music, and not just because your mom wants you to. I think that in the age where you can learn anything, you can learn so much online. I've taught myself how to produce music. I've taught myself guitar. I had a teacher, but she didn't really help me as much as like a guitar YouTube video did. You can learn anything. All the information in the world is at your disposal, at your fingertips right now. So what's stopping you from just becoming so proficient at the thing that you want to do? Focus. And when your phone fries your dopamine and there's always something better, your focus is siphoned away from, it's like the reason why you have a TikTok and there will be like the tweet or like the actual important information, but below it there's like a roller coaster or like some Minecraft jumping thing. Our attention is so fried. And what you need most in Indian classical music is focus and attention. A layman cannot listen to Indian classical music. My mom is an Indian classical music teacher, and I used to run away from the Tanpura from class because I was like, what is this? Like, I was raised here in the US. So she tried so hard. Like, I got into Bollywood very early, lighter music, but pure Indian classical, like, I was like, what is this? Like, goat. Can I just listen to Selena Gomez? Please stop. I want to listen to Selena Gomez. Leave me alone. Because classical music takes active listening. And it wasn't until and why would you actively listen to something that is not initially even appealing to you? It doesn't have a beautiful, sexy person on stage. It doesn't have pyrotechnics. It doesn't have 40 backup dancers. So what's the appeal? Like, why would you listen to that? Why would you even put the effort to even hear and try to understand and get into the active listening which classical music requires? You could do it for clout because a lot of people are like, oh, I listen to classical music. Like, they think they're better than everyone because the classical art forms are very pure and pristine and used to be played in the courts. So now the rich Indian people are like, yes, which rag is that? I know. What you need to do to become a good Indian classical vocalist is hold one note for like 10 minutes. Like, just focus on one note. Sing it again and again and again, and your voice cannot quiver. And you have to pull that note out from the tanpura, which is a droning instrument that is always accompanies the Indian classical musical performance. You have to find sa. You have to find pa. Sa is do. You have to find the tonal root note of the scale, and you have to hold it, and you have to focus on it for like 5 to 10 minutes, which is kind of equivalent to meditation a little bit, but it's very active. It's the same reason why a lot of people can't meditate. I think probably if you are able to meditate, you would be able to do this because it's an activity that requires you to hold your focus, but it's active. You have to have so much focus. You have to multitask, so you are not only holding the note has to be supported by your breath. You have to control the rate at which the airflow is exiting your body. You have to be on pitch, and not just near the pitch, but on pitch. So if A is at 220 hertz, then in Indian classical music there is that specificity. You have to be you cannot be 221 hertz. And people will tell, no, and you will also know. Because that's the beauty of sound. Why is music a thing? Music is a thing that even a layman can hear you and be like, I think that person's off pitch. I think they're flat. I think they're sharp. That person doesn't know anything about music, but for some reason, the way the notes are stacked up and the distances between those notes, every human being can tell and feel like A is 220 hertz. A is never going to be 223 hertz, you know? I know there's a whole discussion of like microtones and like semitones, and in different rags, which are scales in Indian classical music, sometimes you approach a certain note from the top or the bottom, or it's just a little bit like adjacent, and that's a very specific nuanced thing, but most of the time it's not going to be like that. You have to be on pitch, you have to be supported by your breath, and you have to have immense focus, and that's just for warming up. Warming up is holding of the notes. Warming up is patterns and computations of different notes. So 1 2 3 2 1 3 1 3 2 3 1 2 2 3 1 3 2 1, right? That's called a medukand. You have to do this slowly, which is the most difficult, precisely, and then scale up. Do it at speed. Do it, and then we haven't even gotten to emotions. We haven't even gotten to words. We haven't gotten to improvising. Like, your brain has to operate. Like, let me talk about the way my guru's brain is. She is so used to being attuned to so many things going on. Her memory is so sharp because there was never, it's an oral tradition. Hindustani classical music is never traditionally written down. Your guru tells you, sing something once, and then you have to imprint that in your memory bank forever. There's no repetitions. I mean, my guru is kind, she does repeat because I'm not at that stage yet. I don't try to write anything down, but I record things on my phone. I take remote lessons, so. But think about sometimes I have a story in which I was learning a new rag. I was learning rag chog from my guru. And the day before I had just a casual student performance with her. One of her students is a teacher, and so she had all of her students sing, and she was like, why don't you just sing your local, it's a good opportunity always when you can sing live, like you think you can sing and then you sing in front of your guru and it turns out you can't sing or like all the mistakes come out, or you think you can sing something and you know something but then you have to sing live and you're like in the middle of your thing and you were doing great in your room all alone, but you just made eye contact with this auntie that's like looking at you with a weird face and she doesn't know that she's making that face, but you know that she's making that face, and so live performance will always pull out the worst in you. So it's really good to have practice of live performance. Anyways, I remember that live performance, I sang something I had only been learning like one jog for like a long time. I wasn't being that consistent with classes, and I think I was also just not practicing probably as much, or my growth was just slow. And so this jog we had done, right, for like months. So I was like, I should be able to sing this well in the live performance. And now actually looking back at that video, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, but I did not think that I sang good or sang well. And I remember feeling so bad. I feel like I feel really bad because I have every privilege in the world. I am born with a good voice a little bit just because my mom had me in the womb when she was doing her Visharat, which is like a master's, I think, in music, Indian classical music, and I was in her belly, and I've been raised in that environment to be around music, to love music. I feel very lucky for that. I feel lucky that I have a guru. I feel lucky that I have money to pay fees for a guru. Not that it's about that, but I have time, which is a luxury, to be able to do riyaz. So I just have high standards for myself, and I left my job and I'm doing music full time. So what's my excuse? This is your life's purpose, then it has to be your life purpose. It's you don't some things, unless it's sales development, which is what I was doing before. But some things, when you claim that they are your purpose in life, then they have to be like you have to live to work. You know, you don't work to live anymore. If it's your purpose, you live to work. So I didn't feel that good about my performance, and I put my screensaver as like my guru, one of the pictures that my guru has with her guru, who is a very prolific classical musician. Like, you could compare her to the likes of like a Mozart or a Bach, or just music is something where people learn the structures of it and what has come before, but very few people add their own branch to the tree of this existing art form. And her guru is one of those people where you ask like any renowned classical musician and they revere their head to this name. So I feel so lucky. My guru has won national awards. Like, I feel so lucky, like, that I feel like, what am I doing? So my story is that I felt bad about that performance, and the next day I knew that my guru was teaching me a new rag, and so I was like, I have to do this right. Like, I have to be on pitch. I know that's one thing I can do. At least I haven't really reached that much like flexibility yet. Like, I can do it, but I don't know how to use my voice in a very flexible way. I'm still in like belting mode, which is a way that we learn how to sing high when you're raised in the West. Like, you listen to like Aretha Franklin, not Urethra Franklin. I keep saying Urethra Franklin, but it's not Urethra Franklin, it's Aretha Franklin. I'm so sorry. It's like disrespectful. I'm not trying. It's not a joke. I don't know why I keep doing that. Anyways, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Like, that's the way I've been singing, because I just knew to sing. I only thought to sing like that, or in like a head voice when I did choir throughout school. Like, or soft palate, all of that, right? But anyways, in Indian classical music, you don't use any of those singing styles, really. Maybe in folk, you'll belt more, but it's, if you want to, there's a whole other part of your nasal cavity you have to leverage in order to achieve certain tones and have a strength which is clear but malleable. That is a whole new thing, and I didn't know how to do that yet. But I knew how to do pitch. You can tell, like, I've just had a lot of coffee, so this is gonna be no takes. I'm just posting this as is. But so I was like, I have to really be on pitch for this dog. I want to wow her. I need to show her that I deserve to learn from her after that performance that I just did. Oh my God, I can't believe I just sang like that. And everybody in the audience is like, wow. But here's the thing, as a musician, it's like the more you know, you don't know. So it doesn't matter. That's the paradox of being a musician and being an artist. It's like, you know your real stuff. You know that you went a week without practicing. You know. You cannot fake that to yourself. Your self-respect goes down. But a lay regular person will be like, oh my God, look at the people. It's just different. It's people like certain singers that are not like, it's like different. It's not the same. It's not the same when somebody's like, wow, and then your guru's like, yeah, okay, yeah, fine, good, like, good. I mean, my guru is super positive. She'll always be positive and happy and nice. But like, I know, you can't lie to yourself. So I was like, I have to do really well. And I sat with every note of the dog. I got really spiritual with it. I was like, because it's true where I don't know the science behind this, but the lower notes of like a scale, they are bigger wave forms. Like a bass at a concert moves through your chest. You can hear a high note. Like, you can hear the sopranos in the choir from like the back of this auditorium. You can hear them better. But a lower, like a dum, 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 a kick drum is always going to hit you right in your chest. So the lower notes in a scale resonate around your belly. You'll find that vibration comes from there. The movement, if you put your hand on your body when you sing the low notes, comes from your belly. It takes the most, like think about a tuba, how big it is, and think about a piccolo, how thin it is. Like, it takes so much breath. It's the law of continuity in the fluid dynamics tells us that, you know, it's just the same cross-sectional surface area. Like, I'm gonna get into this later, but anyways, it's just like, you just think about my tuba example. Anyways, so I was sitting with every note for like 2 hours. I was like, wow, 2-3 hours. I was sitting, sunny, like I was doing every note in the scale. I was getting to the center, the absolute center of each note. A pin, like a thread voice, like a straight thread pulled tight, no wavering, like laminar flow of water, like was my voice exiting my throat. I felt so locked in. I mean, I still wasn't sure, like, you never know, right? So I did that in the morning, and then I had class in the afternoon. But during class, even, like, I was able to sing in such a way that I was very on pitch. And I had become so familiar with all the notes in the scale that if she would say like a combination of notes in Sargam, I would be able to sing that. Or sometimes when she was singing and I was kind of like singing along with her, trying to learn, like our voices would like intertwine it such that you couldn't really even tell whose voice was whose. Those moments are so exciting because all you strive for is to want to be like your guru, right? So I remember telling her, like, Thai is what they call a term of endearment in Marathi for your elder sister, I think usually, but we just call her Thai. It's like, Thai, I spent 2 to 3 hours today just on the scale. I didn't even get to the patterns yet. I didn't get to the alankars or palte, which is what we call them, yet. That's why I was able to sing. She was like, you're doing singing pretty well today compared to like the other classes. And I was like, yeah, I know, I did this. And she really humbled me in that moment because she was like, wow, 2 hours? Now imagine doing that for 8 to 10 hours every day, which is what she did with her guru. Sometimes even more than that. Sometimes such an environment where you wouldn't even say words. Like, you're just in the rag the whole day. Like, the level of focus, attention, and absorption you achieve through Indian classical music. I watched a Ravi Shankar documentary the other day, and he talks about, like, something, just the deep level of dedication and utmost just giving of self. Like, that is the album that Kishori Amonkaji has on Apple Music is called Samarpan. The goal is never to sing for an audience, because music is more than an entertainment. Music has this appeal and resonates with us as humans. The reason why we have this internal, like, not compass, but measure of what is a music versus just sound, just general, like, you know, any background sound. There's a difference between a noise and a note. And so that level of focus basically is where Indian classical music comes from. That level of utmost dedication, sacrifice, and absorption. Samarpan means giving of self. Like, that is the level in which you are required to be devoted to your craft if you are pursuing Indian classical music. And I haven't observed that this intertwinement of craft and spirituality exists in the same way anywhere else in my experience. I have a limited life experience, but so my point is that you should learn these art forms, because, getting back to my original point, when you're entering an age where focus and your attention becomes this commodity, which I don't believe in the attention economy, or like attention as a currency, because I don't think you can actually, like, my videos have gone viral before, and it doesn't mean you're gonna get money from that. Like, it's not the same. It's not really a currency the same way. But clearly, like, you have the top paid psychologists in the world collaborating with the top paid, tech people, the most innovative engineers, to create these apps which just siphon away your attention and make you feel like everything is important. In this era, we are so lucky because we have the world's information at our fingertips, but at the same time, you have to be able to focus. And when you are learning a art form like Indian classical music, first of all, it's hard. You're not going to get that dopamine hit. Like, it's hold one note for like 10 minutes. Like, and focus on it and get to the center of that note. And do it every day. It just takes a lot of focus. And you get into that thing, flow state. And I read this book by Mihaly, I can't pronounce his last name. But he talks about, he basically he grew up in war-torn Poland, I think, as a child, and he was fully in a concentration camp. He left, the war ended, so then he devoted his life to understand the psychology of happiness and what makes people feel fulfilled, feel like they have a purpose, what makes people feel happy, because he had observed so many of the adults in his childhood obviously like suffer with unhappiness. Like, that's probably sucks being in a war. I hope that didn't sound insensitive. Anyways, so flow state and feeling productive is something that human beings crave. And classical music is hard. It requires a lot of focus and dedication without any expectation of money, rewards, even appreciation. Like, you'll get respect from very few people if you enter that community. But it's still a very, like, there are people that can tell, like even the listeners who maybe don't practice, like, they'll tell, they can be exacting, like, your dedication, you cannot hide it. Like, if you didn't practice, like, the audience will know, right? And so do it because it's hard. Do it because it trains you to focus. Do it because when you are, like, maybe you're a person who is raised in India right now watching this, and look at the way that I speak. I'm an NRI. I'm ABCD, American born confused Daisy type, right? Like, a little bit. Not really. I mean, sometimes I'm confused, but sometimes I'm not that confused. Anyways, sometimes you could think that, especially because I've seen this here and I've been like that, some traditional art form is like, what do you mean? Like, that's old. I want to listen to Kendrick Lamar. I want to listen to Eminem. I want to be cool. I want to be modern. I want to be very modern. What is this saregama? I don't know. Leave me alone. Please play Selena Gomez right now. Maybe you could feel like that. But when you're raised in the West and you go through that immigrant arc, everybody is posted, like, Never Have I Ever, that shows every person who can make it, like, the 4 people that have made it big in entertainment that are Indian American. You usually always have this story of, like, I used to hate myself. I didn't like being the only brown kid in school. But now I realize that my culture is a blessing and it's beautiful. It's true, though, because you get to a city. First of all, American culture is just black culture. Like, popular American, like, the TikTok dances, it comes from, like, a couple kids in, like, New York or, like, Atlanta. And the whole country adopts rap as pop because all of a sudden it becomes palatable and packageable and sellable to a couple of alt-white kids in the Midwest, which actually control the market, because look at Taylor Swift. And then, I hope I love Taylor Swift. Okay? I think her lyrics are good. Please don't come for me in the comments. Anyways, when you get here and you're gonna, like, get to, like, actually, like, you want to be in New York, you want to be where the cool folks are, like, the forward, successful, professional, cool artists are, the culture makers, the taste makers, you'll realize that the things that we think that are not cool, like, that are actually cultural, and we want to be maybe more white, we want to be more American, America. Look at that that's a right? Like not. So I know that. Look how I'm saying. Look at how the way I speak. Like I know how to code switch. I know the cultural nuances. Like I understand that. Like I know it's a privilege to be able to be close to white culture and understand it and speak in that way. But basically, I'm saying that a lot of the times you'll get to the cities and like you'll see like a yoga studio, and you'll be like, yoga? That's from my land that I just immigrated from. But like there's not one Indian person in it. Or if they are, they're the ones giving money to learn it, not actually pronouncing the names of the postures right. They're saying Shavasana, right? Like, which is fine. The people who do it with respect, like, I'm happy. Thank you for doing that, right? Like you, but also like a little bit appropriation, a little bit colonization, a little bit like profiting off of a culture that's not yours, right? Like the whole like your Nani Ji gives you haldi doodh when you're sick, and you're like, ew, Nani Ji, Nani, please, I don't want that stuff. I want my, pills or whatever. I'm just gonna pop a Tylenol, Nani. Stop. That tastes gross. And then you move to New York, and then you go to like a coffee shop, and they're like, golden latte, golden turmeric latte. It's a new thing we just thought of, and we're gonna sell it to you for $8. And that's the same thing. My point is, I mean, you've heard this before probably, but my point is, we leave our roots thinking there's something better, and there's not. And in a lot of ways there can be in a lot of ways, but in terms of the art form, the history, the cultural, like, I don't know, a lot of parts of the culture we shouldn't leave. Yeah, this has become a long video at a tangent. I hope that made sense. I don't really want to edit any of this. I just want to post it because I want to, I have a lot of thoughts. I want to just start posting them because I got in a little bit of a rabbit hole where I started watching a lot of like YouTube video essays as a substitution for short form content. And I'm like, this is just like, look, what is a podcast? Like somebody's just talking the whole, like I'm just listening to someone talk. And I can talk too. So I'm going to post this video. And yeah, please learn Indian classical music. Please don't let the art form die out, because it's a beautiful encasement of wisdom that we cannot underappreciate and let, be covered in history's dust. Okay, thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk. It's been 30 minutes. I'm going to put this on YouTube and I'm going to forget about it. Love you. Bye.